The standard definition for ultra running is anything past the marathon. Many of the races are 50, even 100 miles long, and the racers don't stop. They run continually for hours, sometimes even days. Diane Van Deren is a resident of Douglas County, Colorado, and a top-ranked ultra runner, competing in the world's hardest 100-mile races. In 2003, she was the women's overall winner of the San Diego 100-mile endurance event. At the Sistina, Alaska 100-mile race, she ran in temperatures 30 degrees below zero. She placed second in her age group at the Tour de Mont Blanc, the longest and most difficult race in Europe, and took 8th place at the Hardrock here in Colorado, considered to be the hardest 100-mile race in the world.
Hardrock 100 is known as the world's hardest ultra running race. It's 100 miles, and it's 100 miles through the San Juans. This is where we get to test everything we've put together, all of our training, all of our time, all of our effort, and see if we can put it all together on the days of the race. And what we'll be doing is testing ourselves against not just the elevation, but the altitude. And really and truly, to do a race like this for me, I mean, everybody's different, but for me, I don't think about the whole 100 miles. If you think about 100 miles, that to me is just way too overwhelming. And what I do is I break the race down. And I think of more of the race in either 10 or 15 or 20-mile increments. What I think about is I got a job to do. I just got to put one foot in front of the other. I got to keep moving. I got to just think about eating and drinking and keeping my body in balance. And also pacing. So when you're running through a race like this, what goes through my mind? Once again, I think about each aid station. I break it up. And what am I going to do to get to that next aid station? What will I do after that? And so I just break it up into increments. But as that sun goes down, it starts to get dark, then you're starting to think, you're starting to kind of gear a little differently. Because during the daytime, you can move faster, you can see ahead farther, I mean, your vision, there's a lot of things that come into play that are different. Your body's more relaxed. And as you go through the night, you tend to tighten up probably a little bit because you are a little bit more tense about your footing and where you are. And in this race, in this case, there are some drop-offs, and you're going to have to be alert at all times. So there really isn't a time to get tired. I mean, you might get sleepy and kind of quiet and things like that. Going through the night, it's just a matter of you have to do it, and you just keep moving through it. The hardest part of a race, I don't know if hardest is really the word for it. I truly believe if you don't have a passion to do this, if hard is a word that you're thinking, then really this isn't something you should be doing. Because it really should be a passion. A lot of these people that are here running just enjoy being in the outdoors. We enjoy being in a group. We love pushing our bodies to the elements, above and beyond. It's just if you've trained right, come race day, you shouldn't have a hardest part. You should just getting through it will be a great challenge.
How you feeling?
Oh, I feel great.
I had the opportunity to run a 100-mile race on the Iditarod Trail in February. What I basically had to do is I had to pull a sled with 28 pounds of mandatory gear. The North Face was wonderful enough to supply my shoes and my clothing and everything that I needed in order to compete in a race of that extreme of elements. It was 30 and 40 below. You know, you cannot do this type of racing if you don't have the proper gear. And if I don't have gear out there that doesn't work, you're not going to continue. You know, a race like this, people ask how much is physical and how much is mental. I truly feel that races like this are more mental than physical. So I'd say mentally, you have to be more prepared. That probably takes more of a beating, is pushing yourself. Having your confidence, being able to perform, and being in the zone. I talk a lot about being in the zone or flowing, where you can be out there and almost be subconscious and just keeping yourself moving. And how do you get to that state? You go through an extreme amount of variations through the course. And so really to explain it to somebody, it is hard.